Fuck it, we do it live. All right, guys, welcome to WNO Podcast. I'm your host,
Welcome.
Hollywood Mike. A lot going on in the world out there. Bitcoin's crashing. R.I.P. to New Jack from ECW. I mean, I'm hopped up on some pina colada flavored super creatine. These guys are all on steroids. We're going to pick some winners today. Joining me, as always, the lovely co-host, Corey Stockton, Reed Connell. In the back, we changed it up on you guys a little bit. From FloGrappling Radio Live, and Kyle Brackey, Alien Hour fan. We have Kyle Brackey from FloGrappling replacing Connor Jashin today, which leads me to my first topic. We got to talk about something serious.
Okay, here we go.
Connor Jashin, troubled young man, lost his wallet, and for some reason that has led him.
Can't believe it.
He has to take a bus 18 hours to Tennessee to get a new driver's license. So that's why there's no Connor today. Everybody in the chat, be nice to Kyle. He's a very sensitive guy. Don't hurt his feelings. He's going to be taking your picks when we go through and make the picks.
Grappling expert back there.
Yep.
I know the most on
Resident
this show,
grappling expert.
Sure.
Before we get into the picks, I want to talk a little bit about Nogi Pans. So who's number one roster was out there. They were kicking ass. I mean, Liz Clay, Jessica Crane, they were laying the smackdown. Jessica Khan and Maisa probably had the match of the tournament. A lot of really impressive performances. I want to hear from you guys, from Corey and Reed. Who most impressed you at Nogi Pans that you'd like to see on a WNO in the future?
Reed, you go first.
I think you got to mention Mikhail Galvao out there for sure. There's a great all-access video on the site if you missed his matches. He's coming up here on this May 28th one. I mean, we haven't seen Mikhail on the American soil in a while against these up-and-coming grapplers. You know, he fought a couple of legit guys in that bracket. So he made quick work of pretty much everybody. So definitely that dude really, really impressed me. Really excited to see him coming up on May 28th for sure.
I'm going to throw it out there. Kieran Kachuk.
That's what I was going to say.
Ooh.
Man, he had, 3 submissions?
3 submissions. Submitted a couple tough guys. I think he had a triangle and then 2 heel hooks. Took third.
The first one was a guillotine. There might have been a Darson there, but absolutely savage. And I think his first heel hook or second heel hook was like 30 seconds into the match.
Yeah, his last 2, I think, were under a minute. Yeah, I mean, he was somebody who you're really seeing utilize those leg entries there in IBJJ competition. A lot of guys were sort of just going to heel hooks when they find them. He was actually like inverting to get into the saddle and stuff. He really impressed me. Looking forward to getting him on one day. That's what we're looking for, exciting people, right? But we're here for one reason only today. We're making picks. We're calling our shot. We're picking who's going to be the winners next week. You guys ready to do this?
Yep, they're going to see if they can topple the picks king, which is me, of course. I've pretty much got them all right from these last ones, so we'll see if I can do it again.
Let's kick it over to Kyle real quick. Kyle, what's going on in the chat? Is Steve in there yet?
Oh, yeah. He said, Kyle, I swear to God. So I'm already getting threatened.
No, Steve is, Connor actually made him a moderator, so he's there to assist you. So
Okay, good.
Connor trusts him. All right. So we're going to start with the bottom of the card, right?
Let's do it.
All
9
right.
fights on this card, big card, 3 huge prelims, free on YouTube. This is a crazy one, man.
Yep. These are all going to be fire.
Yeah.
First one, Luis Quinones from 10th Planet, trains out with Eddie Bravo in Los Angeles, going against Damian Anderson from the DDS, trains in Puerto Rico. This is a tough one for me to pick here. I'll kick this one off because me and Luis years ago went to Kazakhstan together when I was covering the UWW Worlds. He was Team USA.
So you guys are boys.
Yeah, we were boys, but me and Damian, I get along with him too. We were cruising in Puerto Rico, listening to 80s music on a golf cart. So I go back with both of these guys. So this is going to be a tough one for me. But like I told Louise when I saw him at the last Who's Number One, you go to Kazakhstan with somebody, your family now. So I'm going to go with Luis Quinones.
Things change.
Taking this match over Damian Anderson. I think it's going to be a great one, though. It's going to be fireworks. Corey.
Yeah, it's a tough one to call because Damian Anderson has a gas tank that can go forever. I saw him last year. He had a 50-minute match, 50 with Andrew Tackett. So he's got a gas tank to go forever. But I recently ran into Luis Quinones at Emerald City, and he had just a gnarly shoulder lock. It's actually up on the site. He calls it the Thunder Lock. He caught that on Damian's training partner, who was it, Frank Rosenthal. And I think, if that's a sign of things to come, Luis is going to have Damian's number here, and I have him by submission.
Wow, yeah, definitely. Luis 10th Planet guy's very high on him. Eddie, very high on him. He's definitely had some good wins out there. Damian, we of course have spent some time with Damian down in Puerto Rico, him training with the squad and everything like that. I'd have to tell you, Damian's one of the guys who really impresses me most down there. Like, Damian is on the mats from like 9 a.m. till like 5 p.m. in the afternoon, and he's doing these workouts with the guys. He's doing MMA with Gary Tonin. I heard that Damian might even take a fight very, very soon because he's training so much with John and Gary and the guys in their MMA practice. We see him wrestling out there with Nicky Ryan every single time. I think that Damian's really excelled being down there in Puerto Rico. So I'm going to take Damian Anderson on this one. You mentioned his match with William Tackett. He's a dude who just does not get tired. I think the 15-minute rule set will really lend itself to Damian in his game. So I like Damian. I like Damian by submission here.
Corey, Tyler in the back, our producer's asking, who'd you pick?
Luis.
Okay, so we got 2 for Luis, 1 for Damian. All right, let's kick it over to Kyler. Is there anything going on in the chat? Has anybody made any votes on this match?
Steve picked Damian via sub.
He's the only vote so far?
Yeah.
All right, the first couple are always like that, so it sounds like it's unanimous.
Well, I believe Steve is a 10th Planet guy too, right? That's why he likes Connor, because those two guys are all 10th Planet guys?
Yeah, he picked Damian.
No, he picked Luis, didn't he?
No, Damian.
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 Steve's a Creonchi. What a traitor.
We got a second vote. Freddie Flores says Damian too.
There you go. Overwhelming majority.
Damian 2-0 here, so that splits it down the middle. Kyle, you're the tiebreaker. Who's winning this one? You going with Luis or Damian?
I gotta go with Damian. He's one rolling around in the golf cart listening to 80s music, right?
All right. Fair enough. Good. That's a good reason for me. Damian Anderson. Split decision here, 3-2. Up next,
that's a fun match though. Two up and comers, two stars, two guys who hunt the sub. I love that one's the one that's kicking off our Who's Number One card.
Oh, it's going to be a great one. That's at 145 pounds. Up next, this one's a catchweight at 150 pounds. We got Cole Abate coming back. This is, I think, his 3rd time on Who's Number One. He did the Gi event. He did and then he beat Tapned Johnson. Going against Bird Wiltsey, Satya Wiltsey, the younger Wiltsey brother, not as famous as his older brother, but he's legit. He's a blue belt no-gi world champion, 150 pounds. I'm really excited for this one. I mean, Cole's still 16, but I think he's ready to go with anybody. So I'll go down the line here. I'll let you kick this one off, Corey. Who you got?
Yeah, it's another exciting matchup. We have a lot more evidence of what Cole Abate can do than what Bird can do. I think Bird's gonna give Cole a tough match. I think this might be might go a little bit longer than Cole's last match on Who's Number One. That being said, I think that Cole can hang with just about anybody 145, regardless of age, regardless of experience. So I have to give this to Cole.
Yeah, a really interesting one, of course. Bird, like you said, not as well known as his brother, but this is a huge opportunity for him to, kind of vault himself into the stratosphere of jiu-jitsu competition. Cole, a big name. He's a phenom, a prodigy, if you will. Had an incredible performance against Ned Johnson at his last Who's Number One. Hard to pick against a guy like Cole Abate. He's just looked so dominant out there. You really, you haven't seen really anybody give him much of a challenge, to be honest. So I don't know. It's a lot of question marks for Bird as well. We haven't seen Bird as much. I know he has these really great ankle locks and these like Kyotera foot locks and things like that. He has like some kind of really unorthodox submissions from those positions and things like that. I don't doubt that he could surprise Cole with some kind of weird stuff that they got working on at Pedigo Submission Fighting. But I'm going to take Cole, the favorite here. I think that what he's doing out there in AOJ, the leaps in development that he's made is really apparent, especially on this Who's Number One stage. So I see Abate with another win here.
All right, so kicking it over to me. You guys already know who I'm going to pick. I got the Pedigo tracksuit. I'm basically a part of the gang. So I got no choice here. Cole Abate, no disrespect to Cole Abate. Very bright future. Love him and his dad. Great people. AOJ's making great athletes over there. But I'm going to go with Wiltsey. I'm going to say Cole sort of beats him up positionally for a while. Bird's got great ankle locks. I think he gets into that ankle lock and maybe exposes a heel, goes for a heel hook, something he's not normally allowed to do in his IBJJF purple belt brackets. I'm going to go with Bird Wiltsey pulling the upset here against Cole Abate. But it's tough to pick against Cole. I think he could go toe-to-toe with anybody out there. Kyle, what's going on in the chat?
So, Steve, he said, I have to go with Cole. Love Daisy Fresh, but Cole is so good. Another guy said, GS said, Wiltsey on the come-up.
1-1. All right, so sounds like you're the tiebreaker there.
I'm gonna take Wiltsey. I recently watched Daisy Fresh. Anyone who lives like that is about that life. I'm gonna roll with them.
Let's not discount that Bird Wiltshire has magical powers. Just like Andrew told us
That's
when we
very
were
true.
making the documentary, he's actually considered to be the healer of the family. He's considered to be the more powerful wizard than Andrew. So that's something.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's something you got to consider.
And we've already seen Andrew use his mystical powers on the Who's Number One stage to get these kind of wins. So we could definitely see Bird do some of that too.
If Bird eats an angelite crystal before the match, he's just going to be basically unstoppable. I don't know if that's
floating
legal
above the
in
mat.
WNO. We haven't made that illegal yet, but that's always a possibility. All right, so that's our second prelim. These prelims are crazy. Listen, I mean, this next prelim could main event a card.
Yeah. Many cards.
Mikael Galvao looked dominant out there at Nogi Pants. Tapped his first three two guys under a minute, and they were all game opponents. Damian Orende, Clay Mayfield, just from the beginning, all game opponents. Won by decision in the final. That was his Nogi debut at IBJJF. Hit his first ever heel hook in that Orende match.
Wow.
He's going against Andrew Tackett, who's no joke, man. These guys, I think, are both 17 years old, super young. I think Andrew actually just turned 18, around the same weight. They're probably going to fight a whole bunch of times. But Andrew looked phenomenal when he fought Sean Yadamarco on the prelims a couple months ago. This is a crazy match. I'm picking this one maybe for match of the night already. Reed, I'll let you kick off the picks on this one.
Yeah, dope matchup. Finally, like we said, get to see Mikael there in the big stage against a big name like Andrew Tackett. I love this matchup. Both these guys, absolute killers. I don't know. It's hard to pick this one. I said last week that part of me expects Andrew to go out there and just kind of blow the doors off Mikael, and part of me expects Mikael to go out there and just blow the doors off of Andrew. I think definitely this one ends in a submission. Both these guys are submission hunters. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and take Andrew Tackett to pull the upset here. I think he's been on this stage before. He knows what to expect. It's a little bit of a different environment than just like an IBJJF open tournament. When you have the lights on you and everything like that, it affects different people different ways. And Andrew, I think he might get beat up a little bit in the beginning. Galvao's such a big physical grappler, but what we know about Tackett, he's going to be there to the bitter end, and I think late he's able to turn it on and turn the tables on Mikael Galvao and finds a submission late. Should be a sick match. Could go either way. Mikael Galvao, of course, is a huge prospect. No disrespect to him. He's got a bright future, but I like Andrew Tackett in this one.
I think my pick's going to surprise some people because when the betting lines come out, Mika's probably going to be a big favorite if I had to guess. I'm going to go with Andrew Tackett as well. And like you said, no disrespect to Mika, he's got a bright future, but I just think in this rule set right now, I'd have to bet on Andrew. Mika, we saw him finish a couple people early at Nogi Pants. I think if Andrew can last and take it longer than 10 minutes, Andrew's got hell of a cardio, man. I think he takes it longer than 10 minutes, wears him out. I'll call this one a decision. I think maybe Mika wins the first half, Andrew wins the second half. It'll be interesting to wrestling because Mika's got very good wrestling, and so does Andrew Tackett. But I'm gonna go with Andrew Tackett winning this one. Although this might be the toughest match on the card to pick. I literally have no idea what the hell is gonna happen. I just can't wait to see it. What do you think, Corey?
Even before this weekend, this was my favorite match on the card. But coming out of Nogi Pans and watching Mika's performance in Nogi Pans, it just made this matchup more exciting to me because the thing that gave Igor Feliz in the final the best chance against Mika was that Igor was pushing forward, right? And if there's one thing we know about Andrew Tackett, he's got phenomenal pace and he will not take a backward step. That being said, I think that's going to be it could be potentially his downfall in that he's going to shoot on Mika so often, and we saw every time Igor shot, Mika reversed it, right?
When he jacked him up
yeah,
there.
That was crazy. It looks like he broke his arm
so
there for a second.
I don't think that Andrew is going to be maybe so aggressive in the opening rounds, but I think that eventually his aggression will feed into Mika's game, and I have Mika winning this probably not by submission. I think Andrew's a little too gritty to he might lose something before he taps, right? But I do have this going to Mika still.
We saw a new fold in Mikael's game there too. A lot of people weren't sure if he's a little bit more known as a gi player. Dominates in the gi as well. But so to see him go out there and finish a couple fights with heel hooks, really kind of let people know that no, this guy knows the no-gi game just as well. So. But that being said, Tackett's trained no-gi every single day. I think they've pretty much given up the gi.
Yeah, Victor Dory going to be mad at us. Everybody at Fight Sports is really high on Mika Galvao, but this one's sort of a toss-up in my opinion. Andrew Tackett's no joke too. Kyle, what's going on in the chat? Are people behaving themselves today?
They're being very good.
Nobody's making fun of us?
No. Steve said the Shades brings up a good point talking about UCers. But everyone went for Galvao. That's four votes for him. Even one on Facebook.
Yeah, he's got to be the big favorite. What else are people saying in there? Anything going on?
No, just some magic emojis when you guys were talking about Bird there. Other than that, everyone's just being good, making their picks.
You making friends?
Oh, yeah. These guys are all my BFs.
Yeah. I mean,
this
you're
point.
just here for one day, but you let's not count it out. You could establish some lifelong friendships back there in the chat. Steve seems to be a pretty loyal guy. All right, so that means the chat is going for Micah Galvao. Is that correct?
That's correct. They went 4-0.
Another split.
Split down the middle. Kyle, tiebreaker. Let's go.
I'm going to go with Tackett. I don't know why. I don't have a good reason. It just feels like he's going to win.
All right, that's a good reason. All right, moving on to the main card. The last 3 matches will be free on Facebook and YouTube. These next ones, you have to be a subscriber to FloGrappling to watch on FloGrappling.com. So the first match of the main card is, this is a crazy one too, where I don't know what the hell is going to happen, because Jonathan Alves, we haven't seen too much no-gi yet. Did he do any no-gi IBJJF as a color belt?
Purple belt, he won no-gi worlds.
Purple belt no-gi world champion. All right, he's going against Oliver Taz, who's a 2-time ADCC veteran. Beat Johnny Tama in a close match last time he was on here. This is a very interesting match stylistically. DDS versus AOJ. Is my turn to kick it off?
I think so.
I believe so. All right, I'm going to go with Oliver Taz. I think under this rule set, he's more well versed under this rule set. He's going to be going after leg locks and stuff. I mean, he's got some stuff to correct with his guard. Johnny Tama passed it a couple times, right? But I'm sure they've been back working on that. I'll take Oliver Taza to beat Jonathan Alves. I don't know if he gets a submission. Maybe he gets a decision based off of leg attacks, but fuck it. I'll call it submission by heel hook. I'll go with Oliver Taza. What do you think, Corey?
This is another very tough match to call because for 2 reasons. One being that we haven't seen a lot of Jonathan Alves no-gi, obviously. The other being that Johnny Tama has not been submitted as a black belt. Actually, I mean, he really hasn't been a black belt.
Johnny Tama.
Excuse me.
Oliver
Taza. I'm thinking about the Johnny Tama match. Oliver Taza has not been submitted since 2016, right? So we're going back quite a ways. Jonathan Alves is a finisher. He explicitly likes to get to his opponent's back. I think he's going to have a very hard time getting there against Taza. So I think I'm leaning Taza on this one, but again, it's very close.
Two for Taza.
You're doubling down on Taza then?
Taza, yep.
Taking Taza. Wow. Yeah, I mean, listen, this is an interesting matchup. Two different styles here. Of course, Taza known more as a submission hunter, as a submission-only type of guy. Jonathan, a little bit more known as a gi player. He's a brown belt world champion in the gi. He's a purple belt. No, he's a blue belt world champion in the gi, purple belt no-gi world champion. One of the very dominant colored belt in the gi, of course, if you've been paying attention these last several years. And, we haven't seen too much of him, especially in the no-gi, but make no mistake, Jonathan Alves is a master of positional control. He's a master of guard passing. I think that he's definitely going to, have the positional dominance in this match. But of course, that all could be wiped away with some of these submission attacks from Taza. We haven't seen as much of this heel hook heavy attack from Taza lately. I know he's been really kind of switching things up. He's been trying to go after necks, and he's been trying to work on his wrestling and things like that. I hope to see him go after the legs, because I think that's a real hole in Jonathan Alves' game. We didn't see him go after the legs so much in the Johnny Tama match, but although he did have a close heel hook that probably won him the match. So we'll see. Like I said, kind of stylistically, this should be very interesting. It's hard to know who's going to kind of implement what game plan, but just kind of on statistics, I'm going to take Jonathan Alves here. I just think he's the more dominant grappler. I just think that he's going to be the guy who's kind of dictating the pace of this match and dictating where it goes, and ultimately I think he'll win a decision over Taza.
I mean, if I'm betting on Taza, first off, thank God Taza's not fighting somebody with almost the exact same name again, with Tama. That was really
Taza versus Tama was.
But
was weird.
if I'm somebody betting on Oliver Taza, I'm scared to death of Jonathan countering leg entries with a bolo and getting to the back.
He's a master of the Barambolo, of course, as well. So that's definitely one of his things. Training with the Mendez brothers, very possible.
All right, moving on to the second match of the card.
We gotta ask what Kyle or what the
Kyle. You're right.
So
I slipped up.
You're good. 2-1 in favor of Taza in the chat.
Who voted for Taza?
Steve.
All right.
And Kitman. Now I got a question here. Steve says Taza because he's fired up since a DQ. This guy got DQ'd for something?
That's true.
He did. He got DQ'd at
What'd he do?
At Nogi Pants. He did the Wagner thing. He smothered his opponent was on his back. He was winning. He was winning the match.
Oh yeah, I'm taking that guy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can do that on Who's Number One stage.
Yeah, that's
I think
legal on Who's Number
Oh
One.
hell yeah, we have no rules.
Yeah.
we got a couple. But.
No holds barred.
Yeah, I like
Hardcore
that guy.
rules. But he was winning the match. He was on the back with a body triangle thing, put his hand over, which is legal in a lot of no-gi rules.
He thought he was on the Who's Number One stage.
Yeah, got DQ'd, and then he came back to beat that guy in the absolute later, which is pretty interesting. But that was a tough
Redemption.
DQ for him. All right, so
Taz has been on tear in 2021 here. He's putting together a lot. He's competing a lot. You saw him at the Dallas Open. We saw him in Nogi Pans. He's competing a lot. So I could see why he would have the edge there for sure.
We got a few more votes. Taza, then one for Jonathan, but another for Taza. So it looks like Taza takes it. Yeah.
All right.
all right. Second match of the main card, the only women's match. We had another women's match on here, but it fell through, unfortunately. Scheduling conflicts. This is Jessica Khan, who looked great at Nogi Pans. She went 1-1. She tapped Lavinia in some of the best jiu-jitsu I saw in the tournament, and then she almost tapped Maisa. They went out of balance before Maisa came back to tap her.
And also some of the best jiu-jitsu of the
Yeah,
tournament.
I mean, maybe the match of the tournament. Going against Patty Fontes. These are two girls that fought a while ago. I think Jessica was either a blue or purple belt. I don't know. Was that EBI? Or was it?
I think it was
I
EBI.
think it was at a
definitely
female EBI.
rules.
Patty won last time, but I mean, a lot's changed since then. Jess is one of the best black belts in the world at her weight, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Number 3 versus number 4. Is this you're up first, Corey?
Yeah, that's me.
All right.
I've said this before. I've been saying this all month, really, but the women's 150-pound division is my favorite division
The best.
of jiu-jitsu right now.
Better than it's ever been.
It's so competitive, and we see new girls in this division all the time. This is a really interesting match for that division because it's the number 3 versus the number 4. Patty has a win over Jessa, but Jessa looked so good at Nogi Pans, and she's been looking so good all year, really. Patty had a good match too. She had a tight guillotine. It looked like she was close to finishing it. They went out of bounds. There was a little bit of controversy there, but I think Jessa, except for Maisa and maybe Grace, is almost unstoppable in this division. I have to give it to Jessa here.
Yeah, first of the Checkmat crew, bringing out a bunch of Checkmat guys to this one. So that's cool to have the Checkmat team on this event. I believe it's kind of the first time we've had some of these Checkmat guys on there. We got Gabriel and Patty and Panza. So all these guys definitely going to be prepared for their Who's Number One debuts. It's just a very tall task for Patty, I think, in Jessa, kind of a new generation versus a little bit of an older generation. And like you said, I think Jessa's just been surging quite a bit. She's been competing a lot. She had a great performance on the Who's Number One stage against Danielle Kelly. Really a dominant looking performance. I'm going to take Jessica Khan here as well. Just I think that her time is now. I think she's going to take this win and then maybe run the match back with Maisa Bastos. I think these two are two of the best in one of the most exciting divisions in jiu-jitsu.
All right, I'm backed into a corner here because if I pick against all 3 AOJ people, Guy Mendez might kill me. So Jessica Khan, I think, unlocks another level of
Be
power.
careful, bro. Be careful.
Yeah, my life's on the line. But Jessica Khan, I think, unlocks another level of power under the bright lights. When I see her come out at Who's Number One and she's got her music, does her little dance on the way to the mat, it's like she's got her swagger going. And I think Jessica's going to come out firing. She threw up triangles in the first early minute or so of both of her matches. I think Jessa wins this one by submission. I'm saying either a triangle or an arm lock from a triangle. But yeah, I think Jessica Khan's got a really bright future in this crazy stacked division. I mean, we got that match versus Grace eventually. I mean, she's going to be fighting Maisa a bunch of times. There's a lot of good girls in this weight. But yeah, I'm going with Jessica Khan. Looks like among the analysts, it's a clean sweep for Jessica Khan. Kyle, what are they saying on YouTube?
That's
Wrong.
exactly what they're saying on YouTube. GS, he said Khan with the kill. So does it mean she's going to murder her?
Yeah, killing's legal on Who's Number One.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Entirely possible.
It's a clean sweep on social as well.
Jessica Khan sweeps
there you
it.
go.
Not very often that happens on here. Next match here was a late addition. Nikki Ryan versus Gabriel Almeida from Checkmat. This one's at 185 pounds. Nikki's motivated. Nikki had a match against PJ Bartz at the last one. It was sort of uneventful. I know he won, but he's these DDS guys, if they win, but it's not by submission, they hate winning like that. He wasn't happy. He wanted to get on it as soon as possible. So Gabriel Almeida's always ready to go. We set it up. Nikki Ryan versus Gabriel Almeida. Reed, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, man, love this match. Gabriel Almeida fights anybody, doesn't really matter. Gi, no gi. This dude is very active as well. Always out there throwing down, so got to have some respect for Gabriel Almeida. But I'm going to pick Nicky Ryan here. I just think that Nicky Ryan is extra motivated, hyper motivated since his last match. I know he was really, really counting on getting a submission there over PJ Barch and kind of unveiling this Nicky Ryan 2.0. Didn't quite get to do that on the last Who's Number One. So this time around, I think he's just, like I said, hyper motivated to reveal this Nicky Ryan 2.0. You know, he doesn't want to get trolled by his brother again. He doesn't want to get made fun of by Ethan and the gang for having another close match. So I think we really see the version of Nicky that we were supposed to see on the last match. I think he's going to come out aggressive. I think he's going to come out wrestling, looking to put Gabriel down, looking to pass his guard, and then find a submission. I think we see a completely new version of Nicky Ryan here on the stage this time around.
Yeah, Nicky Ryan's a man on a mission for this one, right? He's got something to prove. I mean, we know he's got great potential. We've seen him in the room. He's looking great. He's still only 19 years old. But, I mean, I think this is a better matchup for him than PJ. We saw Nicky playing guard and coming up for single legs, and PJ was countering. I think if he comes up on that leg with Gabriel, he puts him down. I think if Gabriel stands with him, Nicky's going to take him down. Nicky's got very good wrestling, but maybe Gabriel pulls. But I think one way or the other, I'm going to have to go with Nicky Ryan getting to the back and getting a submission here. I'm taking Nicky.
But make no mistake, right? Sorry to cut you off, Corey. Make no mistake, Gabriel Almeida is as game as they come and can definitely pull it upset here against Nicky Ryan. I think he's a ADCC veteran. He won the Brazilian trials.
Tapped a bunch of people,
which is notoriously one of the most difficult tournaments in the world, the Brazilian ADCC trials. So for him to come out of that with a gold medal, speaks volumes to how good this guy is.
Here's something I want to say about Gabriel Almeida too, is that he really kind of feels the water out on the mat. If he has a conservative opponent, he plays a little more conservative. If he has an aggressive opponent, he plays very aggressive. I think we're going to see an aggressive Nicky Ryan, because I think anything less than a spectacular victory for him is a loss. Mm-hmm. Not just in his eyes, but I think in the eyes of the jiu-jitsu world, right? I think he needs a spectacular win after his last couple performances. He's going to be ramped up. I think that's going to make Gabriel Almeida ramped up. It's going to be an exciting match, but I think that Nicky's just going to be a step ahead the whole time, and probably going to take this by submission, say maybe before 10 minutes.
KB.
All right, so before we get to the picks, we got one of the competitors in the chat, it appears.
Who?
Luis.
Oh, nice. What's he
Panza?
saying?
The guy on the
Luis Quinones. Okay.
Yeah, Quinones.
What's he got to say?
Well, he picked himself, and
I like the confidence.
He also picked Tackett, Bird, Taza, and Khan so far. But everyone else.
He picked me and Luis on the same page. It's all my picks. Smart guy.
So everyone else saying Nicky gonna win. I'm gonna take Nicky. He snapped my man Tony Ramos's leg.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't very nice, but I saw how good he was. Tony Ramos was actually my first high school wrestling match. So.
That's right. KB and Tony Ramos actually wrestled at the Iron Man in Ohio back in the day, I believe?
Walsh Jesuit, Ohio.
Crazy.
All right, awesome. So you and Nicky share a common opponent. KB, before we move on, I want you to ask the chat something. Let's get their opinion on something else. Me and Kyle have been talking about this lately. A lot of people recommended this dumbass Sasquatch documentary to me on Hulu. I want you to ask these people if they believe in Sasquatch, because I think it's just preposterous. Kyle, what's your opinion on it? I know you're big into conspiracies and stuff.
Well, of course I believe in Sasquatch and Bigfoot. Come on.
Why? Tell me one reason why.
Because he's out there.
Squatching?
People have seen him, yeah. What are you talking about?
Dude,
I thought the documentary was dumb as shit.
It's so stupid. It's about three drug dealers got murdered and people are trying to blame it on a Sasquatch.
Well, no.
It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
At first they were trying to blame it on Sasquatch, and then it just turned out that there's some dude that lives in the area that they call Sasquatch, and it just got lost in translation that they were talking about this dude, that it was his nickname.
No, it wasn't the Sasquatch. It was our buddy Sasquatch.
Exactly. It's a freaking terrible documentary.
So Sasquatch does exist.
A guy named Sasquatch makes a lot more sense. Okay, so he exists. I don't believe that the other, Harry and the Henderson style Sasquatches exist, but
no, they're out
we'll
there,
see.
dude.
All right, we're moving on.
We got to ask Louise if he's got any good Kazakhstan stories too. Let us know if you got any good Kazakhstan stories.
Not much went down in Kazakhstan. Just see a bunch of horse meat and horse milk. That's all. I don't know what to tell you about Kazakhstan. But all right, are we moving on to the next match?
No.
Who is it? Oh shit! This is a hell of a match.
Yeah.
Wagner Ocean.
Here's where it gets real good.
All right, it's go time.
Here we go.
Wagner Ocean.
Let's do it live.
And Fuck it, let's do it live. What else he saying? This thing sucks. Let's do. All right, Wagner Hosha and Josh Hinger. This is a hell of a matchup stylistically. I mean, they're both around the same age. They both love to scrap. They both love to wrestle. I mean, I think there's a great matchup for both of them. Neither one of them have gone against each other, which is surprising. I think Reed, you're kicking this one off.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, like you said, it's crazy that these guys are veterans, are champions in many different disciplines and everything like that. Never actually crossed paths. This is Wagner kind of making his campaign for the 88 kilogram division. I think at ADCC, he's been trying to take out a lot of these guys. Right? He took out. Who did he take out? He took out Thor, of course, on the Who's Number One stage.
He beat Ronaldo and Thor at Who's Number One.
Beat Ronaldo as well, yeah. So this dude, I think he's kind of crossing off the names on that 88 kilogram list, and Josh Hinger just happens to be the next guy on the list. Bronze medalist at ADCC. They got the Hinger team. Both these guys very exciting. Neither of them like to pull guard. Both of them like to kind of poke and prod a little bit at their opponents. I expect this one to be a physical match. I expect to see a lot of wrestling, some more of these Python chokes and stuff like that. This should be an epic one. Hardest one to pick on the card, I think, maybe. Both these guys, very deserving of wins, can definitely pull it off. But gun to my head, I'm going to pick Josh Hinger right now. I just think that Josh has more ways to win, I think. Of course, Wagner very, very good at basically just taking all the tools away from his opponent. I feel like he's just a master of kind of taking out whatever his opponent is good at. He just nullifies it. But Josh just has a lot of different ways to win. I think he's a great wrestler. He's got the guillotine. I think he can wrestle up from guard if he gets put on his back as well. So I'm going to take Josh here. I think, like I said, he's just got a few more ways to win. But Wagner is a killer out there as well, and always capable of toppling just about anybody.
All right, me and Josh Hinger got a complicated relationship, okay? Sometimes we're borderline friends, sometimes we hate each other. Current status is now we're cordial with each other, but we haven't refollowed each other on social media this time. All right, so
okay. Well, maybe now's the
maybe I ought to mend that bridge. But Wagner Hosha, on the other hand, has always been nothing but a gentleman to me. I've never had any kind of rivalry with Wagner. I think Wagner is going to go out there. He's going to be smart enough not to go under Josh. He's going to look out for the guillotine. He's going to be out there trying to break Josh's fingers, hitting him in the chest. Josh is going to love it. It's not going to get in Josh's head. It's going to turn into a scrap. But I think that's going to play into Wagner's hands. I think he ends up getting on top and winning a referee decision here.
There we go.
All right. Sorry, Mike's supposed to go?
No, not yet.
Dang it.
I mentioned this stat a couple weeks ago before.
Damn it, Kyle.
Before Wagner fought.
Start over.
Before Wagner fought Gordon. It's not the case anymore, but specifically because of the Gordon match. But up until the Gordon match, Wagner had spent something like 15 seconds on his back in his last 10 matches. I don't think Josh Hinger is going to be the guy to put him down. I think he has the best chance to, but I don't think he's going to be the guy to do it. I haven't seen Wagner's posture broken in 20, 30 matches. I just don't think that. Really, to me, this match comes down to who has the better chance of getting on top first. Whoever gets on top is going to stay on top. Whoever gets on top is going to win. I just don't see Josh Hinger taking Wagner down despite how good his wrestling is. And for that, I've got to give this to Wagner. I think it's going to be a decision. I think it's going to be 15 minutes of just basically slapping each other in the face.
Josh is not going to be happy that we both picked Wagner to take him down.
Who's number one veteran is Wagner, though, man. This guy's been out there. Of course, he's been in the main event versus Gordon. Doesn't matter who the opponent is for Wagner. Always a huge G. So
all right,
got to shout out Wagner for that.
Let me ask you something, Corey. You picked Wagner, right? Mm-hmm. It's going to be Josh Hinger's birthday when this match happens. Does that change your choice? Do you think he competes better on his birthday?
No.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Fair. That was just a test. If you said yes, I would. All right. KB, what's going on in the chat right now?
All right. So Luis says this is the gangster fight of the night.
I like it.
He also backed up what you're saying about eating horse and milk in Kazakhstan. So that's pretty much all there is.
Happens sometimes.
Hinger got a few votes, but the overwhelming majority was Wagner.
All right. So that is 3-1 for Wagner Hosha, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
3-1.
3-1 for Wagner Hosha. All right, we're moving on to the co-main event. I mean, basically everything here could be a main event. Co-main event is Mikey Musumeci versus the number one ranked guy in his weight class, Nogi Pans champion Lucas Pinedo from Atos. Who's going first on this one?
I think it's you.
It's me? All right, let me tell you guys something. Mikey Musumeci is a deranged individual. He's a crazy person. I spent time in the desert with him a couple weeks ago. I don't think I'll ever be the same. Mikey Musumeci is a madman. I think Mikey Musumeci, 15 minutes is a long time to go with him. I think he's going to get under him, get on the back. I say Mikey Musumeci by RNC at some point.
I think the fans are going to all go with Mikey here. Mikey has every reason to deserve all of the fans here. I don't think people understand how good Lucas Pinheiro is. I mean, right, he won Nogi Pans last year. He won Pans last year.
He's passed Mikey's guard before. I mean, how many people have done that?
He's passed Mikey's guard before. I don't think this match is going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be very close, very technical. For me, really, this is a coin toss. I'm giving it to Lucas here, but it's absolutely a
Coin toss, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, great matchup here. Lucas Pinheiro, of course. I think he's gotten so much better since moving out to Atos. He used to live here in Texas for a while, too, kind of jumping around a little bit. Now he's kind of landed with Andre Galvao and the Atos crew. Hands down one of the best places in the world to train. So I think he's made some real leaps and bounds in his jiu-jitsu lately, or at least the past few years. But very hard to pick against Mikey here. I think Mikey just kind of on an island all his own, to be honest. I think, really when it comes to, under 160 pounds, I think Mikey can maybe kind of starch basically everybody out there. I think he's somebody that just is a little bit built a little bit different. Like you were saying, Mike, he just has this mindset that is just unbreakable. I think, we saw it at Worlds. We saw the things that this dude's able to do. And he does things well. He surpasses even your wildest expectations a lot of times. I expect him to make this look easy, to be honest. I don't think, everybody expects that, but that is just how good Mikey really is, to be honest. No disrespect to Lucas. I think he's an absolute killer. He'd smoke me. But Mikey, wow, that guy is good.
Mikey's a hell of a cook, let me add, too. He cooked me a pizza in his backyard a couple weeks ago. Perfect 10 out of 10. But, yeah, I mean, Mikey, he's just too damn good. And the thing is like, he's all in on no gi. He told me in the interview I posted last night, he hasn't trained in the gi since, I think he said March 3rd or something. So, I mean, Mikey's all in on no gi. He's rejuvenated. He's loving figuring out the new position. So, I'm excited to see Mikey in this match. And I'm more.
You think we're going to see him go for some heel hooks and stuff? Is that how much he loves no gi?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, just like I said about Bird earlier, Bird's got great entries to ankle locks. We know Mikey's got one of the best ankle locks out there. So, why not adjust and turn it into a heel hook? Mm-hmm. But, I mean, when I was out there, he was practicing bolos all the time, trying to figure out ways to adjust it for no gi.
And Lucas says he's going to bolo. He said he's going to bolo Mikey. So, it should be a bolo battle,
Lucas
maybe.
Did say he's going to bolo Mikey. So, let's see. Let's hope it's not just two guys trying to bolo each other no gi for 15 minutes. But KB, what's going on in the chat?
Looks like a clean sweep for Mikey. And, I saw all that food the Musumeci family hooked you up with.
Yeah, lots of food.
Yeah, I want to pick him so I can get some of that food, too.
Shout out to the Musumeci family. His mom is so nice. The first day I worked there, she gave me like 3 bags, grocery bags full of food. I had like two loaves of bread, 8 bananas, all this stuff. And I was like, man, I took it back to the hotel. What am I going to do with all that? How am I going to eat all this food? And the next day she gave me even more. She gave me like 5 cheeseburgers, a dozen hot dogs. It was, yeah, they really take care of you out there.
Up.
Yeah, Mikey's mom's an extremely nice person. Kyle, anything funny going on in the chat?
Yeah, going back to the Sasquatch thing, for the most part, people believe in it in the chat.
See, I knew nobody smart watches this show. I could have.
No, they're all smart. This guy.
Why don't you believe in Sasquatch, Mike?
This guy, he hunts for gold in California. He's seen him. He said.
Oh, I guess. I mean, he's got me beat then.
He's got first-hand knowledge.
Someone also might have also said read with Sasquatch.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Who's picking what? Who's picking? Oh, you already said everybody's picking Mikey.
Yeah, they're all on Mikey.
Everybody's picking Mikey. Everybody's picking Sasquatch.
I believe Corey picked Lucas too, right? Corey was the only one who went on a limb and picked Lucas.
Corey picked Lucas Pinheiro. All right, here we are.
Main event time.
Main event of the evening. The pound-for-pound king, Gordon Ryan, undefeated on Who's Number One, basically wins submission of the night every time he's on here. Going against Luis Pons, a no-gi world champion at black belt. Big dude. I really got to start keeping track of this. Who's up first on this one?
That's me.
All right, Corey, what are you thinking about this match?
19 submissions in his last 19 matches. I don't think I have to say any more than that.
When was the last time he lost? 2019? Is that when it was? Vinny?
Vinny, right? Vinny
Yeah.
was 2017, I think.
Was it?
No,
Yeah.
maybe it was 2019. I don't know.
No, yeah, it might have been 2017.
Yeah, I think you're
yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. I'm off. I was
Right.
thinking I was out there at the ADCC. He definitely didn't lose after ADCC.
Undefeated in the last 50-something matches or whatever it is.
Tapping everybody.
Right,
Calling
yeah.
a shot now.
Yeah, right. I don't think there's a way for me to pick against Gordon Ryan. Despite how good I think Luis Panza is, I think this is probably the toughest match Gordon has had in probably in 2021 at least, right? Maybe even
Definitely.
2020. Luis has finished all of his last 13 victories have been submission victories. That being said, 19 of 19. I can't go against Gordon here.
Yup, hard to pick against Gordon, of course. I think Panza does present a lot of interesting challenges. He's got that really hyper flexible guard. He inverts really well. I think these are things that a lot of the guys that Gordon fights don't really do. He hasn't really seen this type of grappler, a big guy who can invert, who can go after leg locks, who can play guard against pretty much anybody. Panza definitely brings a lot of interesting challenges, I think, to the table, and it's going to be interesting to see how Gordon kind of tackles each one of these problems. But like I said, it's hard to pick against Gordon. I'm curious to see what he's going to bring out. If he's going to kind of predict a submission again, I have to expect that he's going to top even his last performance where he predicted the triangle. So very eager to see kind of what he has in store for that. But yeah, interesting challenges for Panza, but got to go with Gordon here.
One thing I like about this match is shuts up all the haters who say Gordon's just fighting smaller people, this and that. Panza's legit. He's a no-gi world champion. He's a big dude. He was looking in shape, training hard when I was out there at Checkmate.
He's a specimen.
In Long Beach. But this is the thing. Ain't nobody beating Gordon Ryan, all right? Instagram can't take him down. People comment on him. He defeats people in Instagram comments left and right. When he gets mad at a business, it's fucking Macy's or
Young Manny can't take him
Ruth's
down.
Chris. Young Manny, he annihilated Young Manny. Young Manny is done for. And he still won't leave that guy alone. And nobody in jiu-jitsu is beating Gordon. Gordon's the greatest ever. He's tapping everybody. He's calling his shot. He's making it look ridiculous. Panza's a cool dude, great competitor. Props to him for stepping up when nobody wants to take this
Absolutely,
thing.
yeah.
He's got the balls to do it, but I'm going to say Gordon Ryan by submission. I'm not going to pick the submission because I already know what he's going to call, but Gordon Ryan by sub here.
That's what everyone in the chat is saying too. The Burmerican, he says even Panza's coach doesn't think Panza will win.
I don't know if that's true, but what else are people saying in there?
Let's see. The King with Dars calling it. RNC probably.
Of course, Panza has been training almost like his entire black belt career with Buchecha. He trains every single day with Buchecha. And if training every single day with Buchecha doesn't get you ready to fight a guy like Gordon Ryan, then nothing will. So I think Panza's going to be prepared.
No, I mean, people are really underestimating him, but I think Gordon's tapping anybody in the world right now, to tell you the truth. What about Young Manny? What do they think about Young Manny in the chat? Any Young Manny fans in there?
Are you familiar?
I don't know Young Manny.
Yeah, he's just like some 16-year-old rapper that Gordon is beefing with. But all right, guys, this event goes down next Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. The press conference hosted by yours truly will be in here at 5:30 Eastern next day. First 3 matches free on Facebook, YouTube, and actually just there. And then everything else on FloGrappling.com. You guys are going to make sure you tune in for this. We got a few big event announcements coming up. We got a whole bunch of crazy stuff coming up in the Who's Number One universe. All right, you guys got anything to say before we get out of here?
Can't wait for it, man. Who's number one? May 28th.
All right, see you next Tuesday. We're going to talk betting lines, might drink some beer. Hollywood Mike, we're out of here.